Maybe.
Are we there yet?
It says you're live. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm Memorex.
excellent.
I'm just a shittier, slimmed down copy of you.
Well, when we're done, I'm going to flip you over and record on the other side.
You could do that. Hey, Megan. How's it going? Yeah. Sometimes I need a pencil stuck up in the end, wound up.
No. Oh, I hate that. Why would you say that?
You see, Tess, there used to be these things called cassette tapes.
I hate this game.
Back in a galaxy far, far away. Here's the thing. So they make cassette tapes now, but I haven't seen actual new cassette player. Have you seen a new cassette player?
I have seen the ones that look like the record players that they'll have like CD players and cassette players built into them.
Okay.
I had one of those, but the record player part broke.
So there's an actual website out there that I go to. I can't think of what's called right now, but they take old like Walkmans and all the Polaroids and stuff, and they refurbish them.
Ooh.
So I actually bought Jacqueline a brand new Polaroid like a year or so ago for her birthday, but it was the Pepsi edition.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Yeah, so somebody had turned it in and they refurbished it, and I bought it,
awesome.
and it works.
That is so cool.
But it's a Pepsi Polaroid from like the early 80s.
Do they still make film?
Yeah. Polaroid started making film and stuff again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So you can go, like, if when Jacqueline and I went to Sam's the other day, you can buy actually a Polaroid kit now.
I had a person come in the other day and they were like, "Do you know anybody that buys VHS tapes?" And I was like, "No." And then afterwards I was like, "Should we buy VHS tapes? Should we prepare for the apocalypse and get some physical media, some VHS tapes and some DVDs?" And
well, at least
tracks.
I guess if you have the VHS tapes, you can make rope.
That's true.
You can braid it and make rope.
That's a good point.
That's
a good point.
You can do that. So I used it after I replaced my entire collection with like DVDs and stuff. I used them for minibus stands. So I laid them flat and made so my room was all minibus stands, and I just finally threw them all away. I don't have any VHS anymore.
Well, when they're rewound all the way, they're weighted in a way where you can really chuck them a good distance.
Please be kind.
It's very satisfying to throw a VHS tape.
Remember you used to get the rewind machines?
Oh yeah, I've had many.
You could buy the rewind machines because they started telling you it was not good for your machine to actually rewind it in there.
Yeah.
So you would take it out and they just made a machine.
So you buy a cheap little thing that you stick it in and boop, and then it rewinds it.
Yeah. It did exactly that when you put it in and went boop.
Just like, I love that. Okay, good to know. I feel like I've actually experienced it for myself.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're here to tell you about the dark days.
The dark days.
That's why our generation's so mad.
It's true.
We had our vinyl needed to be upgraded to cassette, and then DVD, and then CD, and then we had to buy it all on iTunes. And it was,
and don't forget Laserdisc. Holy crap! We had to deal with the whole Betamax, which was the superior format. Yeah. Sony was it Sony? Sony decided that's not the format. No, Sony had Betamax.
Okay, so Sony lost that fight.
They lost that.
Whoever it was, Sony wanted Betamax, and everybody else wanted VHS.
Yeah,
because Betamax, you couldn't record as much on it, but it was a much higher quality.
It was a smaller tape and much higher quality, and they lost. Sony lost.
But it was not. I mean, 6 hours of movies on a VHS tape at like potato quality, but you could watch them over and over.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a lot of VHS tapes where I had recorded 3 movies off HBO.
See, that's the problem. That is a problem in our generation. We lived through all of that.
Yeah. That's why we're so mad.
Yeah.
Valid.
Like all of it.
Yeah. And now I got to pay a monthly subscription to listen to music or watch movies.
I did I bought a movie the other day.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think it was Barbie. I bought Barbie, so I actually have a physical.
Nice.
I think I'm starting to buy physical.
Yeah, I've been thinking about starting to do that again.
Want.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed is like there's a new video game I want to come out, but it's a gimmick now, right? Because I love Sony PlayStation, but it's a gimmick now because it's the Lego Horizon Zero game that's coming out. But if you buy the physical media, you get the game.
Mhm.
But if you get it digitally, you get all this free crap.
Oh.
I'm like, well,
Why?
but I'm buying physical media.
Does it at least
Yeah.
come with a Lego?
Of course not.
Wasted.
But like it doesn't
opportunity.
come with all the additional costumes and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like,
Mm.
but if I buy,
Well, I mean, I feel like every company that makes any sort of media is trying to get us all to do it digitally because it's so much cheaper for them.
well, and
Mhm.
you don't tangibly own anything.
Yeah.
That's true. I forget what game company it was, but he was like, people need to get used to not owning the things that they buy.
Yeah.
And then immediately I saw all these people posting, if buying it isn't owning it, then piracy isn't theft.
It's true.
Yep.
And I'm like, I can't argue with that
I,
logic.
honestly, I can't argue with that either.
If I
Mhm.
buy a thing, it's mine.
It's mine.
Yeah.
Yes. Mine. So tonight on VCR Talk,
This edition of Old Men Yell at Clouds.
I mean, you know, it was a standard topic.
A band I really like did a limited edition cassette, and when I went to see them in concert, they didn't have any. I was sad. It was just Well, it's because I was supposed to see them like a year before I saw them, but they all got the flu, so
Yep.
it got
Yeah.
postponed. They also did, and they weren't functional. They were the cartridges for Nintendo 64
Oh.
with the band on
Oh,
it,
that's
and there
cool.
wasn't like a board or anything in it. It was just the exterior of the cartridge, but it was a Nintendo. It was like a
Right.
little tchotchke thing.
That's cool.
Well, I thought it was cool too.
I mean, I still buy vinyls.
Mhm.
Like I'm constantly buying vinyls. I bought
Yeah.
like 3 vinyls last week.
I keep
Like Dua
wanting
Lipa
to.
came out with a new vinyl.
Yes. Yeah.
So Halsey came out with a new vinyl. I
Mhm.
bought. I got Shine Down, My Attention Tension CD, and something else. I think it was a Kelsey Ballerini for Jacqueline.
Mm.
But I still buy like albums like every week.
Yeah.
A couple of times a month, not
Yeah.
every week.
Every single day.
And sometimes it feels like it. Sometimes when the album shows up at home, it feels like the one showing up every day.
My God.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So we'll talk comics.
We got some events coming up.
Got events coming up. We'll talk. We got After Dark coming up this Friday at 9. We'll be Tessless.
Sorry.
Yep, no Tess. She's going to a rave or something.
Yeah, going
Yeah.
to a
Absolute rave.
a rave.
Something about a bright point. I assumed it was a rave. I don't know. Bright point rave.
Isn't that like the techno music?
It's
the
where they go,
Breakpoint techno. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
There was a Saturday Night Live skit that they turned into a movie.
so yeah, we'll be out there. She'll have her big like board, so they'll be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
They do that in I think the techno rave things. You have like when you can find your people. The head group has like a board with a big sign.
I see.
yeah.
I see.
You should go out there and watch some of it. It's pretty
I'm
entertaining.
not. I was like, I'm not as well informed in rave culture as
Yeah,
you
there
are.
Yes, you are,
apparently.
apparently. Yeah.
There was one in Orlando this weekend, and one of the signs
Mhm.
somebody made, it was actually really awesome. It
Yeah.
was a giant Pokemon card that they made, and they had lit it up because these are the techno with all the light shows and all that stuff. So the sign was lit up. It was a Charizard with a big old booty pointed at you, looking behind. So you saw the wings and then a big old booty. It was awesome. Well, that's awesome, and it was lit up. I'm like, oh,
Oh
that's pretty cool.
man.
I want that.
That's what I use the internet for. Because the music's not my
Looking at
thing.
Charizard butts.
Yeah, the music's not my thing, but I enjoy seeing like all the signs and all that stuff and
Yeah.
things, and like some of the outfits.
Right. The one rave I've ever been to was a Shrek themed rave.
I almost went to that.
And because I had just been in Shrek the Musical and it was kind of traumatic. So me and my friend were like, let's go to the rave. It was an interesting
Yeah, I
time.
tried. I can't remember if I tried talking Phoebe into going,
Mhm.
or if I just mentioned it and thought about going and then just didn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was a few years ago.
But yeah, some of those the electronic, some of the stuff that the people wear there is pretty.
Mhm.
is
Yep.
yeah.
Sure is.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty entertaining. So I'm easily entertained, and so
Yeah.
I can like that. So I look at a lot of weird stuff.
Charizard's not the only one with his booty out.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I stood in the corner and just watched everybody.
Yeah, there's a picture that came out that I saw from the one in Orlando that really should be a meme, but I kind of not know the person, but it's someone I follow that went to the one in Orlando, and she was on a picnic table standing up, and like her boyfriend or somebody was taking a picture of her.
Yeah.
And next to her sitting down was a guy. Next to him was his girlfriend. And boy, he was doing everything in his power not to look left as she was standing on the table. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, you could look at the picture and you could just see how focused he was. And I'm like, this poor kid. Like, man, if he turns left, he's gonna get nailed.
That's funny.
It was funny.
That's the best.
It was so good. Like, that's pretty good. I like that. So anyway,
Wow.
that's good. And if you haven't watched Scott Pilgrim on Netflix, you should go watch Scott Pilgrim on Netflix.
Okay.
If you are a Scott Pilgrim fan, it is not what you think. A skort. Did I say skort?
You said skort.
Scott. Yeah. English.
Skort Pilgrim?
It's not a thing I worry about a whole lot.
Why should we?
You knew what I said.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you can make fun of me. That's completely fine, but you knew what I said. Yeah.
I understood.
If you've read Scott Pilgrim or you've seen the movie Scott Pilgrim and then you go watch the Netflix animated series, it is not what you think.
Yeah, I've only seen the first episode, and I did not expect what had happened. Yeah,
It is not. Trust me.
Yeah.
I watched a few more episodes yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I got nothing. I have nothing on this. It's still great though, but I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
I need to finish it.
Yeah, we'll finish it this weekend. Like I said, I think we've hit episode 5. There's only 8 episodes, so we've made it through episode 5.
You need to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that'd be on my list.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it before February.
Yeah, we talked about the Captain America New World Order trailer that dropped. God, it looks so good.
I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
It'll
Valentine's Day plans are set.
I think it'll be the first movie I've gone to in a theater that wasn't a Spider-Man movie in a long time.
Long time, yeah.
I'm going to be there, man. I'm so ready for that movie. Good chance I'll go see the Thunderbolts too, though.
Yeah, well, Bucky.
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah, that Bucky's enough for me to go see the Thunderbolts.
And Yelena.
Yelena. Yeah,
She's so funny. Oh, God.
Yeah, that cast is going to be.
Yeah.
In the last trailer, the whole skit with the we're not going to be the Thunderbolts. Well, I like the Thunderbolts. That was done.
I saw Marvels in the theater. He did not.
I did not. Yeah, it takes a lot, Megan, for me to go to a theater. Like it's got to be pretty amazing. Like I was going to like the Marvels. It wasn't a thing, but like for me to go to a theater, it's like
Yeah.
it's got to be a.
I tend to go to the Marvel movies opening night if I can, because if I don't, within 24 hours, the whole movie's spoiled because people can't not tell me about it. They just can't.
Yeah, and I don't care about spoilers like you.
And I do.
Yeah,
I don't. Like I watch the trailers and stuff, and I see like behind the scenes stuff just on social media and whatnot. But I never believe it because it's Marvel.
Mhm.
Like a couple of the things in the trailer, I'm sure are fake
Well, absolutely,
because they're good at misdirection.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a picture of the Thunderbolts, and people are like, "I don't think Taskmaster's really in this picture. I think that's just for this promotional photo. I don't think she's actually in this scene."
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, okay, whatever.
For sure, whatever.
Yeah, I'll finally get to watch Deadpool Wolverine this Friday because it'll be on Disney Plus.
It is very good.
I'm sure. Yeah. Once again, I never had any doubt. It's the only version of Deadpool that I like.
It is the best version of
It's
Deadpool.
the
I
Ryan
think.
Reynolds, version. It's the only version. So I will say the first 2 Deadpools I did actually see in a theater.
Yeah.
I think the second one broke me because I went to see it in the theater with a group of people from work.
Oh,
no.
Lord.
That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that was
No.
bad.
But
call.
I was peer pressured into it, and so
Mhm.
I went, and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't be here with this
Mm-mm.
group of people watching this movie.
Nope.
And so, yeah, it was very I enjoyed the movie,
Mhm.
but after I left, I'm like, that was uncomfortable.
No, thank you.
I won't do that again. So I think that kind of broke me
Yeah.
of this.
Mm.
So I'm like, I'll just watch it. But yeah, it takes a lot for me to get. But I'll go see Captain America.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Like I haven't seen Jacqueline excited for a movie. Like we watched
Yeah.
the trailer for Captain America, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're going." like immediately, she's like, "Yeah, we're going." I'm like, yeah, that movie's gonna be awesome. And I can see Harrison Ford be a bad guy.
I want to see Harrison Ford do a movie set in the Netherlands. Call it Harrison Fjord.
Fjord.
And you just broke Tess.
Oh!
And Tess is broken for the night.
Yeah, I gotta
Thanks-
go home
thanks-
now.
Thanks for playing
Thanks
the home
for
game.
watching.
Thanks for- Poor Tess.
We're done now.
Things were going so well for her. And then it just turned left.
Oh.
It turned left.
Oh,
Sorry, Tess. I'm not sorry.
no, don't be. It's
Nope.
beautiful.
I was lying. Don't tell her I said that.
Okay. I didn't hear that.
Excellent.
Oh my god. Wow.
And if anyone's ever looking for a good book, we talk about Something's Killing the Children a lot. Just so you know what volume 8? What volume came out?
I don't remember.
I think
Last month, volume 8 came out of the trade.
Mhm.
It was number 3. Number 1. It was number 1 on the list, I believe. Or it might have been 3. I get them confused. It's fine. It's all fine. But what I do know is volume 1 was the 18th selling trade for the month of October.
Really?
Book is really good.
Number
It's
18.
really, really good.
18 for the month of October.
Well, it was
That's
spooky
insane.
season. It's got monsters.
Still, volume 1.
Still.
Yeah.
Volume 1 is still like everything else on the list was new.
Mm.
Sorry, take that back. Everything was new in whatever format. There was a lot of the new DC.
Mhm.
Oh,
Compacts.
the compacts. Yeah.
So I think like 3 of the DC compacts was in that top 20
Mhm.
because that's
Yeah.
how many however many DC compacts came out for the month. That's how many was
There's
in the
somebody
top
on
20.
there.
Well,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're $10
yes.
books.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so those were selling, but volume 1 of Something's Killing the Children is still 18.
That's
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, everything else was a new format for that month when I went through the list.
Wow.
That to me, that wasn't the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise is the DC versus Marvel omnibus was number 2 seller.
Right.
The number 2 selling trade
Yeah.
or hardcover was $150 omnibus
We
for the month of October.
And I will tell you that I typically order 0 of those omnibuses.
Well, he orders me one.
Well, for the rack.
Okay.
I usually have 1, maybe 2 omnibuses special ordered, and then 0 for the rack. This time we had, I think, 4 special ordered and 2 for the rack.
2 for the rack. Yeah.
And within the first weekend, they were gone. All
and
of
then
them.
I had people asking about it.
And I've tried to reorder, and they apparently don't exist
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, they said they wasn't going to reprint it.
Yeah. Well, I was
Well, they had
told
to get
that they had
permission
more
from-
stock
Yeah.
coming from the printer, and then
Oh, well, that might be true, but they said it was only going to be the one printing
Yeah.
because once again, it was DC and Marvel having to sit there and go, okay, we're going
Fine.
to allow this to happen.
yeah, they should play better together.
They should play better
Mhm.
together, especially on stuff like why is that not an evergreen title?
I don't understand.
Right?
Like, just let it be. Like, just make a nice trade.
Yeah, or the compact edition.
Yeah, it should right.
That would be perfect.
Like it
It's
should
not that
just
hard.
yeah, it should just be a complete evergreen title. I don't understand why that's not a thing for
I don't either.
for that either. Like they should just like if you're just going to split the money, just split the money.
Yeah.
Like it's at this point.
Yeah.
Do you think Marvel or slash it's probably DC honestly, but do you think one of them is actually going? Well, I should get like 65%.
I know DC's licensing
That's what I
is
mean. It's got to be
way more
DC.
expensive than Marvel's.
but
And it's
you're
been like that for
licensing
decades.
You're licensing it to yourself, though.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I don't understand.
No idea.
Like, it's not that hard.
I don't know.
Let-
Humans.
You got this first printing, then let Marvel or DC do the second printing, and the next one do the third printing. Just
Yeah.
keep it like
Yeah,
whatever.
make it like the artist editions. Just have IDW printed.
Sure.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Let anyone else. Like, I do not understand why that's not a. It's not a thing. It's not
I don't
hard.
understand it either.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Anywho, let's talk books.
funny
Wanna
books.
talk books.
Sure.
First up, I didn't read this. Tommy read this. We're going to talk about String, #1 from Madcave.
This is gonna be my pick of the week.
What?
I read this. It was very good.
So the premise is basically a young woman is working with a police officer.
I wasn't expecting to turn it to that page, though.
Oh, yeah, yep. So this young woman is working with a police officer to try and solve cold cases because she can see strings. She can see two different types of strings. If it's a black string connecting two people, one of them is a murderer and the other has been murdered.
Uh-huh.
And if it's a blue string, those two people have had sex.
Here's the art. I don't know if there's any bad words on it, so you can pause, zoom in later.
There's really not a lot of bad language. There's only that one panel of
In the centerfold?
quite a bit of nudity.
It's quite a bit of nudity in
Quite
that
a bit.
panel.
I will tell you, there's a really cute cat.
I've seen the cat yet.
And there's a dog.
I've seen the skull in the van. Oh, wait.
Yep.
There's a dog.
Yep. There's a guy that throws a dog.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway,
Maybe I'll read it then.
it's an interesting premise for like a police procedural with a twist. And I'm not usually a big fan of those, but this one was pretty well done.
Okay, maybe I'll read it then.
Yeah,
I mean-
Tess liked it. Phoebe liked it. I enjoyed it. Like it
Is
was.
Tess like Mikey now?
Yep.
Mikey won't like it. He didn't like anything. Tess won't like it. She didn't like anything.
It's true. I hate everything.
He likes it. He likes it. Once again, sorry, I only speak in old commercials.
It's okay. It's okay.
We only speak in old.
And old.
We were talking about Folgers commercials earlier.
God.
Uh,
Wow.
and before you ask, yes, I've ruined Tess.
Yeah. I was about to be like, I was ruined before, but no,
No, you
not to
weren't.
this
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, I've now broken her to the extent of
There's no coming back from
there's
this.
no coming back. This is my pick of the week. Captain America 15. This is actually part 2 of a Cap, Thor, and Spider-Man story. It's the best buddy cop book you'll read.
It's the most fun book I read this week.
It is definitely the most fun
Yeah.
of anything. And the conversations between Spider-Man and Cap is it's beautiful.
We don't often get to see Cap like be funny.
Right.
Because he's always in the leadership role and he's always very serious. But for some, it's like being around Spider-Man and how silly Peter is often. It kind of gives him permission to crack jokes and be funny. And I love the dynamic between Steve and Peter. They play off each other really well. And then like Thor is their straight man.
Right.
Like he's not funny.
Yeah.
So like it's mostly Spider-Man cracking jokes because that's what he does. And then occasionally Cap will say something and it's a very dry wit.
Mhm.
Like he's not like, haha. It's like he says something very, and I could almost hear it like Chris Evans in kind of a monotone.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man's like, wait a minute. That was funny. Yeah.
And I think the setup, so there's, I guess over the last 5 years, there's been some good Spider-Man, Captain America, like one-shots or interactions.
Mhm.
So I think Captain America is one of the few people who completely get Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like he gets that he's actually one of the smartest people in the universe, and this is how he deals with everything. So
Mhm.
Cap just lets him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He just lets him be him, and he doesn't judge him.
And
And-
the first part of the story arc, the last issue, starts off with Steve being somebody telling Steve, you need friends.
Right.
You need to socialize. And so like he calls up Peter and is like, hey man, you want to grab dinner? And Peter's like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then of course Thor shows up and Cap's like, actually, we need to cancel dinner plans, but
Bring your suit.
Bring your suit. We're on a mission now.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of, and like I said, there's been some good stories through some of the other books with them. And I think that's Straczynski's writing this. And so he kind of gets that whole thing. I mean, he wrote Spider-Man forever.
Yeah.
We know he's wrote Thor and he's written Cap.
Yeah. His Spider-Man run, his Thor run were legendary. And his Cap run is looking like it's going to be
It's going to be that
I
way.
hope it's as long as those.
So do I. But yeah, they work really well together. So this is my pick of the week. But you have a spoon? I'm a soldier. I always have a spoon. It's
like what?
Sure. Yeah. It's just little things. There's little things in that book. And once again, this storyline started in 14, and you don't need to worry about the first 13 issues.
Yeah, this very much feels like a self-contained story.
Yeah.
Like there's some of the side characters at the beginning of the first issue that are interacting with Steve, but you get to know who
It's
they
not
are very quickly.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a. Next, we'll talk about it's a book I read and Tommy didn't.
I didn't have time to read this one.
It's Psylocke #1. And yes, before anyone asks, I'm reading all the new X-Men, but I did not read X-Force or X-Factor. But I've read X-Men, Uncanny, and now Psylocke. I'll read Magic when it comes out.
You read Dazzler, right?
I haven't. I have not read it yet.
Okay.
I will tell you there's been 7 issues of X-Men. Or 7. There's 7 issues of X-Men that's come out. I'm still loving X-Men.
I know.
I still love that book. All the character interactions. Cyclops is still who I want Cyclops to be.
Yeah.
The conversation issue 6, they put Magic in a leadership role. And then there was a good conversation there because the Beast, I know this is not this book, but Beast went with the team, and then Scott's like, well, how does Magic do? And it was like, she's much better than we were at that age. So it's like those little things is only, it's been really good on that book. Yeah, X-Men is only up to number 7. I think the
Uncanny number 5 comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Gail Simone is making me like Gambit, which is upsetting to me.
That's almost worse than me actually liking X-Men. So Psylocke is actually one of the characters in the actual X-Men book, which is kind of where this is going. So she's still trying to figure out who she is now after the whole
Betsy
Krakoa.
Quanon split.
Yeah, all that stuff. And so she's handling things in a way that is detrimental to her. Like, I need to feel something, so I'm going to go try to throw myself into.
I remember that season of Buffy.
Yeah, that's what was getting me to think. That's kind of what this is.
Yeah.
So, even in here, Cyclops was like, you know what? You should probably go take a couple of weeks. So it starts out with her showing up with the X-Men and him going, you know what? No, I think we're okay.
Take a vacation, see a therapist.
And so I don't think. I mean, and I will be fair. One of the things that sets her off in here, there's a group trying to sell kids, and it sets her off, and
as it should,
but she didn't handle it very well.
I also would not handle that very well.
Yeah, and so her trying to find her way.
I'm not even a psychic ninja with a bunch of swords.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I don't know who the creative team is. I apologize. I know who it says it is, but I don't know what they've ever written. I know I've seen the name before.
Oh, yeah, Alyssa Wong. Yeah, she's written a bunch of stuff for Marvel.
But I don't, like I said, I can't tell you what she's written. But it was good. Like it was well written. I thought they're doing the character justice. I mean, Psylocke's fine. So she's definitely who she is. And I'm reading what's the Kitty Pryde X-Men I'm reading too.
Oh yeah.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just call it Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they just didn't name it Kitty Pryde.
I don't either. Well, I think Emma's going to be a bigger part of it.
Sure.
After a few more issues.
Yeah. Oh, and just ruined it.
I want the Adventures of Kitty Pryde Bartender.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Like that book literally has been
Yep.
like one of the best things that I've read so far. And it's really only that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. That does make sense. The why the X books have suddenly become a priority.
Yeah.
It's because they're coming to the MCU. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like it felt like that when Hickman was doing Krakoa,
right.
and then that ended abruptly.
It did.
And now the post Krakoa has overwhelmingly, I think, been very good creatively.
Yeah. I think I've read the first couple of issues of the Krakoa because that was the Power stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think I read the first issues and it was okay. Once again, I wasn't a big X-Men fan, so it was just okay.
So
but this
and
though,
see, I loved the House of X and Powers of 10 miniseries. I thought they were brilliant. And then when it started, I tried to read the first 6 issues of everything, and Marauders was overwhelmingly my favorite. But of course, that was the Kitty Pryde book.
Kitty Pryde book, yeah.
So at some point, it was what they did what they do with X-Men all the time. There's so many titles that I can't keep up. And then like something that happens over here is important for the book that I'm reading here. And then it gets a little bit frustrating.
Yeah. I don't know if they're making
It hasn't
these
happened
as tight.
yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet.
Like even with Psylocke, at the beginning of the issue, they show her showing up to the team meeting late.
Yeah.
But Cyclops makes the whole team just sit there. So Cyclops is written just still like in the X-Men, so which is great.
Yeah.
And then she gets there and they're like, okay, we're going to go on this mission, except you're going to take a vacation. And that's then where this book leads in. So it's
okay.
And I'm looking forward to the Magic book.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean,
yeah, Magic.
It's Magic. So that's good. I'm hoping that's good. Like I want it to be good, but
same.
We'll see.
I just want more big giant anime swords in my comics.
Well, and now I have Absolute Wonder Woman.
Oh, I know.
I have Magic and Absolute Wonder Woman now. This is great. It's a great time for me. It's really a great time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, coming from me, I have enjoyed X-Men. X-Men's been my favorite. Uncanny is I've liked Gail Simone's Uncanny.
Yeah,
I haven't liked it as much as X-Men though.
Well, she's kind of writing it almost like a horror book.
Yeah.
Like the villain of this first story arc is terrifying. Like both visually and like tonally. I don't know. This is wrapping up the first story arc. So issue 5, and I don't know if it's going to be like 5 issues and then a bridge issue, or if it's just going to be 5 issue arcs. But I'm enjoying this book way more. Well, I mean, I knew I would like it because it's Gail Simone. Right. But with the team that she put together, I was like, I don't know. I hate Gambit, and I don't really know if I'm going to like it. And oh my God, it's so good. So good.
I just like it in the X-Men book that anytime someone starts whining about something, they're like, well, you could go hide in the woods with Rogue if you want. It's almost every time. You can go hide in the woods with Rogue and her group if you want. Yeah. Like, no. Yeah. It's like every time. It does.
And I think one of the reasons I'm really liking the current iteration is that X-Men and Uncanny X-Men feel very different.
Oh, they're completely different.
And it used to be the same book with 2 different teams.
Yeah, it is not.
And now it's like 2 very separate groups. Yeah. I'm not even going to say teams because they're all one big family.
Right.
But like they're all a little mad at each other.
Yeah.
After everything that happened at the end of Krakoa and all that.
Yeah, really the only 2 people are talking is actually Rogue and Scott.
Yeah.
Rogue and Scott are the only 2 people who are talking, and they're kind of keeping in touch with each other. And everyone else is like, well, what are they doing? And they're like, well. It's kind of because they're all dealing with everything their own ways, and that's kind of how the teams kind of like Kitty. How's she dealing with everything? I'm working in a bar. Leave me alone.
And like the new kids that they've introduced on Uncanny X-Men are interesting. Yeah, one of them is dead half the time.
Yeah, it's fine.
One of them has like a flaming horse.
It's fine.
May as well.
I mean,
yeah.
Who doesn't want a flaming horse?
It very much feels like Gail Simone was like, I want to write a manga. And Marvel called her and was like, do you want to write X-Men? And she was like, I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely handling it well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just, for some reason, I think I can't get over, well, Magic's on the X-Men team, number 1. but I can't get past Scott being so good.
Yeah.
Like Scott is so good in the X-Men that I think it just controls how that whole team is.
Yeah, they
playing
definitely leaned heavily into the way he was portrayed during Grant Morrison's run and Joss Whedon's run, and to a lesser degree Hickman's run. Yeah. I really think that Grant Morrison especially, he took many years slowly transforming Scott into Magneto.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how he and Magneto were super bros now. Like Magneto's like his right hand.
Yeah.
It's the Cyclops that I really like.
Yeah, you have to appreciate someone who can blackmail the government. And he did, and it was glorious.
Oh my god, the scene where they're just in the diner and he's like eating pancakes.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm blackmailing you, and I'm enjoying these delicious pancakes at the same time.
Yeah, like
icon.
Like the guy sitting there just wanting him to get mad, and he's like, no, here's how it's going to go down.
Yep.
It was great. Yeah, it's definitely, if you've stopped reading the X-Men and you want to get back into it, I highly recommend.
This is a good time.
Now
this is a very good time.
Yeah.
God, now I have to go read all of it.
I would say it's an exceptionally good time.
Exceptionally.
Yeah, because probably the last time I've even tried to read X-Men and enjoy it was Grant Morrison's run.
Yeah.
And like I read,
and then it went off the rails.
And it went off the rails at the end. But it's so I love Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
If Grant Morrison is left alone to write what he wants to write, whether it's in the superhero world or not, it's great.
Yeah.
If editorial decides that they want him to do something, you're going to get exactly what you asked him to do in the most horrible way possible. And I've noticed that about 100%. Everything he's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
If he's like when he was left alone with X-Men, it was great. Editorial came in and like, well, we need to go do this. He goes, fine.
Sure.
I went there and now I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of his stuff has always been that way. It is.
To have that much power.
Yeah, if you read any of his stories, that's why Klaus is so good. He came up with it. I'm just going to write what I want and we're going to move on.
And we're going to get the best artists in the business to draw it.
Yeah. Like all of his stuff always reads that way. You can always tell when somebody from editorial has decided that he needs to, because when he took on the X-Men at the time, X-Men was hurting.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared that there was an X-Men, and they were like, here. And so basically he boosted them back up, and it was great stuff.
And this is the run that introduced Alex's favorite character.
Really?
Yeah, Quentin Quire came. He was introduced early on, and then he was like the main part of a story arc called Riot at Xavier's.
Aww.
He wore T-shirts that said Magneto was right.
I love that so much.
Yeah, he was such a jerk from day one.
So it was all that was done really, really well.
It's. I don't want to make the exceptional joke again, but it is
exceptional.
Yeah,
it is. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, we should talk about different books.
We're going to talk about that. I can't believe I sat there and talked about X-Men for 10 minutes.
I know. Proud of you.
I know, right? But The Amazing Spider-Man 61. So this kicks off the 8 deaths of Spider-Man.
And so we were lazy and just had the Scotty Young cover.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm going to give you, I used to do 1-line reviews. Sometimes it would be 2 lines. I'm going to give you the 1/2-line review of this book. Dr. Doom is lazy and wants Spider-Man to do his dirty work because he doesn't want to die.
8 times.
8 times.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Dr. Doom gives a good speech about, well, I'm protecting all this other stuff. No, Dr. Doom, it just doesn't want, in case you don't know.
Oh, right.
Dr. Doom is now the Sorcerer Supreme in the Marvel Universe. That all happened in Bloodsport, Chapter 2, Boogaloo.
Bloodsport.
Sorry, it made me laugh in my head, so I thought I'd say it. Yeah. So basically, that's what this is. So instead of Dr. Doom as the Sorcerer Supreme doing what he's supposed to do, he's basically given Spider-Man the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme to go deal with what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And then a MacGuffin to bring him back to life up to 8 times.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe 9 times because it's 8 deaths.
Well, I think it's 8 deaths. So
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the new Sorcerer Supreme.
It's fun. It's a little goofy. Like it definitely feels like a story that I don't want to call it filler because I don't think it's necessarily filler. But it definitely feels like a story that could have been a miniseries.
Right.
That they were just like, you know what, we're going to do this in the main book,
Yeah.
which I prefer.
Yeah,
honestly,
I prefer
I
too,
would
yeah.
much rather they do it this way.
Yeah. I feel like they're really going to beat Peter down in this, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
if you enjoy Peter Parker torture porn, this is the book for you.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're like, he's going to be. If he's not a different person at the end of this, they wrote it wrong.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. There's no way.
He dies. Spoiler, in the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, he dies apparently in every issue, and then gets resurrected.
Yes.
Painfully.
Yes.
Like the thing that they established a long time ago, magic in the Marvel Universe has a cost.
Right.
And the cost for this is pain.
Yes.
So like he's dead, and then he basically comes back to life like a cell at a time from the inside out and feels every bit of it.
And I will tell you, there is a full page panel of where he dies in here that is drawn perfectly.
It is.
It is literally him basically getting shredded.
Yeah.
But it is a beautiful page.
Megan, I don't have a good answer for that.
I see. I don't know what they're doing though, right?
Yeah,
that's his hate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't know until the end.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I can't say that they're doing this to say I hate Spider-Man. I think they're setting up something for him.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think it's a bigger picture thing because after I read this issue and knowing what the premise is now over the next however many, I don't think it's only 8 issues. I think it runs a little bit longer than that. I'm not 100%. I can't remember. I think it runs a little bit longer. I can't imagine at the end of it, it's not going to mean something. It's too much, right? Like it's too much for them to be putting Peter and Spider-Man through this.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of why Doom actually came to him, other than Doom's a chicken, I said it out loud, y'all can get over it later, is the fact that Peter never gives up.
Right.
And Doom got that really from Doctor Strange, is that knowing that Peter doesn't know how to give up. Like he's going to keep fighting for the people he needs to fight for. And so Doom basically blackmails him into a bunch of people can die, or you can do this.
And as Doom's explaining the plot of what he needs Peter to do, there's 4 pages. It's two 2-page pieces of art that are beautiful that showing like Doctor Strange doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like is it's the guy that has the gym that Juggernaut uses, right?
Yeah.
It's Psylocke, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Basically, Doctor Strange made a bargain with him to stop him from trying to invade Earth.
Yeah. But they had to fight.
Like every X number of years or whatever, his 8 children come to try and invade Earth. Right. And the Sorcerer Supreme has to stop them. And Doom is like, actually, I would rather not.
Yeah. So up until now, Dr. Stephen Strange has been stopping them because he was the Sorcerer Supreme. So he's taken on this task. But now that he's not, they're coming back. Mm-hmm. And Doom technically is supposed to be fighting him, but Doom's a chicken.
Yeah, he's like, I have more important things to do. But
Doom's a typical villain.
Yeah.
All big talk until it comes down to time to do something, and then you turn it over to the people that's got to do it.
He did use a $5 word, and Spider-Man was like, I'm almost willing to let you get away with that because you used that word correctly.
I know, right? It was pretty
funny. I mean, it's typical Peter Parker
typical Peter,
nonsense.
Yeah. It's I'm intrigued on what is going to come out of this. Like
Yeah.
I will be sorely disappointed if
Yeah.
they're not setting up something larger. It seems to be too big of a story. And who is actually writing this? It's not a nobody.
Yeah, it's a bigger name.
Yeah. My God.
Are the credits at the end?
I don't know.
I
I'll
think
read the whole book.
They must be at the end.
Oh,
Yep.
they are.
It's not Zeb
Joe
Wells.
Kelly.
Oh, Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness.
Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. That's kicking this off. So yeah, it's not
the
like
team that did Red Hulk.
Yeah. So it's not like, they hired me to write this book. It's they actually put a good creative team on it.
Yeah.
So the art's beautiful. It's well written. It's just there's got to be a bigger payoff.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Guide number 1. I mean, G.I. Joe.
It's Guijo.
Guijo.
Oh, that's an accent. It's French. Guijo.
It's Guijo.
Guijo. Oh.
There is a
one.
play waiting for Guijo.
Ah.
And this is it's a wraparound cover. Ooh, So we finally get the start of G.I. Joe in the Skybound universe. And if you've read any of the G.I. Joe stuff, especially the Duke series, this is really Duke Volume 2.
Yeah, this is it's Duke, Cobra Commander, Scarlet, and Destro all led into this. So bits and pieces of those 4 books. Not so much from Scarlet yet. I think that's going to come later.
Did you read the Scarlet miniseries?
Yeah.
I just finished it last night.
Okay.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
That whole series was nothing as what I was expecting.
Same.
Because I thought it was going to be more of a throwaway.
No,
Man.
I don't think the Energon universe has a throwaway story. So far, anyway.
No.
These are everything matters, everything means something.
Yeah, it has been.
And I'm really enjoying the dynamic of Baroness being with the G.I. Joe team.
Yeah.
Because she's still sort of a bad guy.
She is still a bad guy.
Yeah. But she's like, all right, what you're doing aligns with what I want to do. So anyway, G.I. Joe, thumbs up. Is a good introductory issue. I read the PDF of this a month or so ago, but they redacted the last 2 pages, and they were not what I expected at all. They were much more upsetting than I was anticipating.
Yeah, it was not what Tommy thought. There's no Transformer in it.
Yeah, there's no Transformers in this.
There's discussion of Transformers.
And Energon.
But
there's no actual Transformers in this one. Which I'm like, I want Transformers for everything.
God, we still have tons of books to talk about.
Yeah, no.
Tess is going to be mad.
I'm not mad.
Tess is mad.
Keep going.
All right. Absolutely Batman.
Absolutely Batman.
The birth of the Batmobile.
Yeah. The introduction of the absolute Batmobile. And if you read the first issue and then you read this issue, the Batmobile makes perfect sense. 100%.
It sure does.
And I was a little too excited. Because it made perfect sense for this book.
I saw someone on Reddit who read this and they were like, what's up with that Batmobile? That was so weird. And I was like, did you not read the first issue?
Yes. It's absolutely. And Alfred may end up being my favorite character in this whole book.
He's Liam Neeson from Taken.
Absolutely.
Without having to worry about his daughter being stolen.
Yeah.
Like he is badass.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's some absolutely badassness. There you go.
Yeah. And in this, we get to see Batman being a brilliant tactician. Like, we haven't gotten any real detective stuff from him, really.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, the first 2 issues have been from Alfred's point of view, watching Batman do stuff. And he's constantly commenting on, okay, that he's backed into a corner. He should run. He had a contingency for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
I think the first couple of issues are really just about the preparedness of how he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
So
every time he jumps into something, and it's like, how did he know to prepare for this? But he did. He's Batman. I'm sorry. He's Batman.
Next up is kind of not a reboot of Power Rangers from
It's
Boom,
a future boot.
But yeah, it is. It's a Power Rangers Prime. This takes place in the future where the government has kind of taken away everything that you have and they've outlawed Power Rangers. So
Hmm.
there's no one there to really protect anyone because they're doing it. And it's actually really good.
Yeah, I haven't read a Power Rangers book in a long time because Power Rangers is not usually my jam. But Philip kind of gave me the lowdown on this one, and I was like, I will read. So I read it real quick,
Yep.
and I'm intrigued.
So we should be getting a new future team out of this because it's really kind of the death of all the old teams.
And I think like the first issue has 4 different characters that 100% are setting up to be Power Rangers. I don't know who the 5th's going to be.
Yeah, but
that's
how they do it on the show.
But like 4 of them, I'm like, okay, these are the 4.
And if you are a Power Ranger fan, this is the actual comic introduction of VR Troopers.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Had no
We
idea.
get VR Troopers now.
They are virtually real.
And then finally, we have a reprint of a Treasure Edition, or as DC like to call them, Limited Collections Edition.
Yep.
And you can do cutouts on the back.
Also, grab that.
There, I'll let you grab it.
Look how cool that is.
Yeah, you get the whole Batcave.
A lot of these, the actual ones of these, are missing the centerfold because a lot of kids turn it into posters.
Hung them on the wall.
Yep.
Valid.
Right next to Farrah Fawcett.
All right. So real quick, rundown real fast. Real fast. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 23rd, Philip and I will be at the Virginia Comic-Con over at the Raceway.
We'll be what?
For 7th, we will be at Cosplay World out in the West End.
In
Rico?
Yeah, can't remember. We'll get better.
This Friday at 9 p.m., Philip and I will be doing After Dark Live. We're going to be discussing books where the main characters are the resistance against whatever terrible thing is going on.
So Star Wars comics.
Yeah, Star Wars, Mockingjay, all the fun stuff. But anyway, we're going to talk about characters who are the resistance.
So I go to City Diner. I go to City Diner a
Yeah.
lot. There's a girl there who looks like Katniss.
Really?
But looks like Katniss. And I keep telling Jacqueline, one day I'm going to sit there and say, don't hurt me.
You should do the whistle and the whatever see what happens.
Every time I see her, like she's not there all the time, but I'm like, man, she looks exactly like Katniss. Like not Jennifer, but Katniss.
Gotcha.
Like she is a perfect Katniss. I'm like, wow. Like those things. Anyway. So yes, join us Friday. We'll be live,
9 p.m. If you have any thoughts about the Resistance or characters about the Resistance or stories,
let us know.
We'll be talking about comics and novels and probably movies and maybe even some music. We don't know.
Yeah, all kind of stuff.
Like
and we'll pick up topics, just whatever.
Yeah. Here's your homework. Listen to Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots by the Flaming Lips. There's your homework.
All right. So Tess is holding up that and saying that we should get off the air.
It's true.
And so we will. So thanks for coming. please come back next week to make sure that we've survived, Tess. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Oh, man, I got to end the stream. Islands in the stream.
That is who we are.